Good morning. It is just after 9 a.m. on Saturday, the 16th of September, and welcome to the first of the themed reading vlogs. They're going to be week long, and I'm going to be pulling a prompt from the Jar of Destiny for my vlog for the week. But for this week, it is a different prompt. It is one I've been working on for a couple of months, and then after this, we will be pulling prompts from the Jar of Destiny. So I've been wanting to play with a vlog format for a while. I do sometimes do weekend reading vlogs, and if it's a long weekend, I'll do a theme as well. And I've just been wanting to play with week-long vlogs on a theme. But this week's is different because I've been planning this one for ages. But before I get into that one, I have actually finished my reading for the first batch of the SBFBO, and in fact I'm recording my finalist announcement tomorrow, which is so exciting. I got a physical copy of the book. I ordered that a while ago, so by the time this vlog is done and gone up, you'll actually know who my finalist is. So it's a great book. I hope you're going to check it out. It's delightfully weird, and it was a lot of fun. I did actually record a vlog last weekend. I started it, I pulled a prompt out of the Jar of Destiny, and then I wasn't feeling it. So last weekend I was busy. We were in the midst of a heat wave. Things were a lot cooler now, fortunately. And I pulled a prompt out that I wasn't thrilled with, which is going to happen. I'm aware of it. I have made these prompts, and when I was thinking of them, I was like, yeah, that's great, I'll pop that in. I pulled out another publisher prompt, which even while it was a physical book prompt, I didn't want to do another publisher prompt after I'd done the bank holiday with one as well. And I picked up a couple of books, and yeah, just wasn't feeling it, so we didn't bother. But in that vlog, I did explain why I've chosen the timeline for my weekly vlogs that I have, and I'm going to be doing them from a Saturday to a Friday. I'm well aware that the week starts on a Monday to Sunday, but for editing, it's better for me to have the fully complete vlog at the next weekend so that I can edit it over the weekend and get it out the following week. It really does work better for me to finish that on a Friday rather than finishing on a Monday and or Sunday night even, and then from Monday onwards trying to edit it, which is going to be a lot of footage for a week, and getting that out. So Saturday to Friday it is. So I think that's everything I needed to tell you before I got into this vlog. I have a great stack of books here. So explanation, I am going to be reading this week. I shall be reading novellas, and specifically I'm going to be excluding Tor from this because Tor kind of has the chokehold on science fiction and fantasy novellas, and I wanted to see what else was out there. So earlier on in the year I posted a tweet asking for novella recommendations, whether it's one you've read or one that you had written, and that tweet actually went viral. You get your views and impressions on a tweet, and it was orders of magnitude more than I usually get. I received so many responses and retweets, and there were so many books involved that it took me a while to go through all the responses. I had to exclude several 700-page books, but eventually I did end up with a list of novellas that I then spent some time going through and having a look at and just deciding what I was going to include in this video. And I have a stack on my lap. My feet are going to sleep because it's quite a heavy stack. So the first two are actually Titan books, and maybe Titan is starting to really up its novella game. So the first one is Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher. I've had this pretty much since it was released in the UK, and I have been wanting to read it, and I think this is the one I'm going to actually start with because I've really been wanting it. Is it a Sleeping Beauty retelling? I think it is, sort of. It's been getting really good reviews, and it's just been sat there staring at me every time I go upstairs. So I think I'll start with that one. I also have The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Core, which is one that intrigued me for quite a while, and I love the glossy highlights. So that's the Titan, and then we get into self-published stuff next. So First of all is one that was actually sent to me off the back of this tweet, and this is Strongballs by Mike Russell. His PR team sent me this one. Oh, also, the novella format is very loosely defined, because there is definitely books such as Strongballs and a couple of others in here which aren't novellas. They're not long enough, but it's my vlog and I'm making the rules, and as I've been able to buy it in a physical format, I've decided that counts. So I'm not going to go through synopsis of all of these until I actually start reading them, because we'll be here all morning. And there's actually a couple of pins that have come with the Strongball. This has been sat on the side for ages. I have read and reviewed a couple of Mike Russell's things so far, and I have really enjoyed them, so I was quite pleased to get that one. This is Elden Ethos by Eldridge Black. This is actually the first in a series, I believe. This one is really quite short. It's only about 40 pages long, and it's, you know, it doesn't quite fill the page, but I was always intrigued. Annie, or the Care and Feeding of Your Great Tree-Dwelling Venomous Tentacled Land Devil by R.M. Orson. This is a prequel to a series. Another prequel is Starbinder by Mark Timoney, and this is Before the Blood of a Spear, which I actually have, I just haven't got around to reading yet. I generally picked these up because the prices were really good. A lot of the novellas, the physical copy was still £10 or £11, so I kept a little wish list of these, and when the prices changed I bought them. So I think I paid something like £2.40 for this one, and then some of them were only about £3 or £4 as their full price anyway. How to Get a Girlfriend When You're a Terrifying Monster by Marie Cardno. This is the one I paid the most for, I think, because I was so intrigued by this one. The Summoner's Cry by Anna C. Rice. This is just called a dark fantasy novella. This one I feel like is probably the best representation of a novella. It's a good size, and I think it's a self-contained story. The Re-Emergence by Alan K. Dell, which is a prequel to another book, and I actually own the other book as well. Then another shorter one. This is Hollow Planets by John Kuhn. I tried to get a couple of sci-fi as well as the fantasy, just to break things up a bit. And this one really intrigued me because I think this one, yeah, they detect an unusual radio system, but a barren wasteland greets them when they go and investigate. And the final one was a late edition, but I couldn't resist it when I saw it. This is the Casebook of Harriet George, Volume 1, The Dinosaur Hunters by Patrick Samfire. So if you've been keeping up with things on Twitter, you may recognise a few of those books, because not long after I posted my initial tweet about novellas, the short fiction competition was announced. I cannot remember the initials of what it stands for, but it's Baby Bow. It's novellas, science fiction and fantasy novellas, and I know several of these have been entered into it because I have seen them in the graphic. I know the Re-Emergence has, this one has, and I can't remember which one else has. So I am going to start with Thornhedge, simply because this is the one I have been wanting to read. I recently finished Bryony and Roses, which was a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I just really want to get into this retelling. So I will be starting that soon. I do need to go and pick up a couple of things just from the shops up the road, a prescription and some lunch things, which I'm going to go and do now because the pharmacy closes early on a Saturday, and then I'm done with the jobs that I need to do outside the house and we can sit and read. Book journal. I may as well give you a book journal update while we're at it, because I'm always behind on my book journal, but I'm actually not too far behind this time because I had an evening the other day. I had everything printed out and I just sat and worked on it. So I'm calling it 1.5 books behind because one book hasn't even been started in the book journal, which is the Bryony and Roses. But the book before, I have put everything in, decorated the page and written up the synopsis, so it just needs my thoughts. I'm going to try and keep up to date with my book journal and print out the covers as I read them, maybe printing out like 3 or 4 at a time. I've just stocked up on printer ink, so I do need to change those, but I will come back when I sit down and start reading Thornhedge. But I do need to go and do my other bits and pieces before I really get too far into it and forget to go. It's about 12 o'clock now, and I thought I would come and give you a quick reading update. So I am on page 74 of Thornhedge, which is a little over at the halfway point, and this is just wonderfully delightful. I don't really have any more words than that, because I really enjoy T. Kingfisher's retellings because she takes them in such a direction that looks at it from a different way to the story you expect. So this is a Sleeping Beauty retelling, but this is not the story of Sleeping Beauty. This is the story of Toadling, who is looking after the keep after the hedge has grown up around it and Sleeping Beauty is in her enchanted sleep. And she's stopping people who get curious about it from going in and seeing what's going on. A lot of time has passed and then someone stops outside her hedge, and for some reason she decides to actually talk to him. So we're just getting into what's going to happen next. She's explained a few things to him, but we've also got another timeline of how she was brought up and how she grew up and how she got to be at that point where she's looking after the hedge and stopping people from getting in. But it's just lovely. Yes, it is only really short, and I'm gonna wish it was longer when I get to the end of it, but it's told in such a way that it feels like such a complete story that even though it's only 120 pages, if that, it doesn't feel like it has been cut down too much at all. We have these wonderful characters already, and the relationship that's building up between them is just, it's just growing in such an organic way. They are learning more about each other, and it is just, as I said, delightful. So I'm going to read a little bit more, or probably finish it, and I'm going to have some lunch as well, so I'll probably come back to you when I have got to the end of Thornhedge and completed my first novella for this reading vlog. It's 1 p.m. now and I've just finished Thornhedge. This was just wonderful. The ending was just absolutely beautiful. The whole thing was beautifully written. It was just an absolute delight to read, and definitely a 5-star read. Absolutely loved this one. It really did pack a punch well above its length, because you get to the end and it's like, I can't believe that was a 120-page novella. There was so much development and so much story within it that it's unbelievable that it is so tiny. To throw a slight spanner in the works, I believe in the US this is a Tor title, but the UK, her publisher seems to be Titan Books, which is why it's published under Titan here. So I'm still counting it because this isn't the US and it says Titan on the book, so that's good enough for me. So for now, I think what I want to do is work on getting my book journal up to date, that last book and a half done, and do some work to the last video I need to get written for tomorrow, because it's going to be quite a big thing. This year I'm going to combine my final cuts video with my semi-finalist video, simply because I'm running out of days to get this up. I'm on a kind of personal deadline for SBFBO this year, not the actual deadline that it is. There is a certain date I do actually need to get everything wrapped up by, which is the Sunday that I'm going to be announcing my finalist. So I just need to start working on that one. For my next one, I think I'm going to go for Strong Balls by Mike Russell. This one is 66 pages long, so perhaps not quite a novella, but as I said, I'm making the rules here. And I'm going to come back to this one in a bit, because, like I say, I've just got a few other things to get done first, so I shall let you know how I get on and when I start this one. I can't remember if I've shown you my new book journal or not, but I started this one... Did I start this one? In July, for book number 60 of the year. I think I showed you the one I was going to start using, which was the big ring-bound one, but I didn't like it, so I've just gone back to a pink version of the notebook I used last time. So the purple version of this has something written on the front and a little pen loop. These are normally £5 each. Tesco were clearancing the purple ones for £1.25. So let's just say I'm not going to run out of this notebook for a long time. I've got quite a few. So I'm just going to go and work on this one and this one and my ones I need to update. And then I need to create my wrap-up notes, which I haven't been doing, so I need to get that done because I'm going to be wrapping up August and September, which is a bit of a mistake because September's wrap-up is going to be quite large, I think. Anyway, I'm just going to get on with this for a bit and then get back to reading. It's just after 2:30 now. I promise I have moved. I've even been outside today. I just keep updating here. Tomorrow, I think, if the weather's okay in the morning, I'm going to go and do my 3-mile circuit just to, get the cobwebs blown out a bit. And I do need to go and do some shopping, which, for the bright idea, I don't know why, I've decided I'll walk down to Aldi and do my week's shopping. So that's going to be fun tomorrow. But that's tomorrow's problem. That's not today's problem. So I have updated my book journal for as much as I can update it because I haven't printed out any novella covers yet. I'm running low on the paper I use in the printer, even though I do have new ink cartridges, so I do need to go and change those. And I can fit 4 covers on a piece of paper. It just feels like a waste just printing 2 covers out at the moment. So I will be waiting until I have, finished 3 and I'm enjoying my 4th before I print out some new covers. For my review notes, for my wrap-up, I don't need to do that yet because I'm not going to be doing that till the end of the month. So my focus after I've read my next book is going to be the video that I'm recording tomorrow for SBFBO, and that will be the one where I cut my final books and announce my semi-finalists. So I've got a couple of books in there that I finished and quite enjoyed, but as I sat down to do the review, I didn't really have enough for a full review. So they're going to get slightly more extensive comment, but not a full review. But there were some good books in that batch. So let's go to reading. I'm going to read Strongballs by Mike Russell. I have read, as I said, I've read 2 of his books before. I've read Magic and then a short story collection, which were really enjoyable. So I'm really looking forward to this one. So this one has a brief synopsis on the back. It says, "What are Strongballs? 10-year-old Sydney is about to find out. But first, he must have a cube of his flesh removed. Sydney will transgress everything he was taught to believe in when he embarks upon a journey that will reveal the astonishing secrets hidden by the red balls on white strings, known only as Strongballs." So, 64 pages of story. And in that 64 pages, there's an infinite number of chapters. I'll actually show you on the last one, an infinity symbol. So, let's see what this is all about. Should be a fairly quick and enjoyable read. As I've said, I've enjoyed this author before. I need to get my phone on charge while I'm reading that, so that will stop me from mindlessly scrolling YouTube shorts while I read that. So I will come and update you probably when I have finished this, because I don't think I'm going to update you halfway through because it's so short. So I shall see you in a bit. And Lila is well agitated. I think there might be a cat in the front garden. Better go and find out what's going on. So it's 10 to 4. It's time for relaxation, although that's really been relaxation all day. It's not quite blanket season yet. We're halfway through September and we're still not cool enough to get cozy in blankets, but I'm sure we will before long, and then we'll be lamenting that we are no longer in summer. So I finished Strongballs, and I can't really tell you a lot of what this was. Seriously, what the fuck? I'm not even sure weird is the right word. Bizarre, unhinged. I enjoyed it, but I don't know. I just don't know what to say about that. Yeah, have a check it out. I think his stuff's on Kindle Unlimited. I think so. I need to have a look. But yeah, things certainly happened, and I'm at an absolute loss. So that's one down. Another one down. I do need to work on that video, so I think I'm going to go and work on that for a little bit. But it is only 10 to 4, so I could start another one. Let's see, what am I in the mood for? Want some science fiction? I've got a couple of science fiction novellas. The Hollow Planet, The Re-emergence. Or do I want to go back to fantasy? I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure what reading time I'm going to get this evening. It's going to depend on how that video goes. And I would like to get that pretty much finished tonight, but it's quite a lot of writing in that one. Should we pick a shorter one or a longer one and finish it off in the morning? I don't know what I'm in the mood for until I sit down, so I'm not going to pick one. I will come back when it is time to decide what I'm going to read, and then we'll pick one then. It's 5:15. Amazon is here. Actually, I don't think this is going to be interesting to you because it's actually just stuff for the cats. Let's just see. Yeah, I've just got them some catnip balls, and there's another one coming tomorrow. It's a motorized toy that spins around. Spencer loves it. But I just get these little catnip balls and stick them in the kitchen. So I'm going to go and give him one of these now. And tomorrow, there's a whole new toy. Yeah. Spencer just gets bored with her toys so quickly. But this motorized spinny thing always just breaks once it's past its return thing. So I don't like buying them. But I've bought her another one because I can't resist them. They're just too cute, and she loves playing with it. Let's go and stick one of these to the kitchen door and see what they make of it. It is 20 to 6. I've just finished writing the video, which I'm really pleased about. So all I've got left to write for the SBFBO batch 1 is my finalist video, which is never a long one because I always just want to get to the point. But I'm really pleased I've got that done. I can get that recorded tomorrow. So I've got 2 videos ready for tomorrow. Yeah, really happy with that. So the cats have gone and sniffed the catnip ball, but not done their usual rub up against it. Maybe they will later. I don't know. It's currently a new thing, so therefore it's suspicious. But going back to the reading because I got the video done. I'm going for How to Get a Girlfriend When You're a Terrifying Monster by Marie Cardno. This one was one of the first ones I picked out when I was doing the looking at the novellas, so I think I'm going to read this one. I didn't want to do another dead short one because I've got a couple that are around 60 pages, but I didn't want to do the longer ones. Anyway, it's 20 to 6. I do need to go and get something to eat, but even if I don't finish this tonight, I'll finish it in the morning and I'll let you know. And I'm not trying to do them all at the weekend because I've got all week and I don't want to run out of novellas. I do have a couple upstairs of traditionally published ones, which are kind of backups if I get all these done. But we'll see. We're not going to try and rush through them all. No, we're going to pace ourselves, she says as she's reading the third one of the day. So it's now 8:30-ish, or very nearly 8:30. The lighting is incredible because I haven't put both of my lights on. But I thought I would give you a bit of a reading update. I've got up to page 48 of How to Get a Girlfriend When You Are a Terrifying Monster. When You're a Terrifying Monster. I'm enjoying it so far. I wouldn't say that I'm absolutely loving it. There's rather a lot of lusting in life or death situations going on, which is just... It feels a little bit weird as you're trying to not be absorbed by this giant creature. So in this one, Earth can create portals to go and explore this dimension. There's been a bit of backwards and forwards to this dimension that I can that I've picked up from what we've read so far. There's magic on Earth, which I'm interested in finding out a little bit more, so I think we're going to find out a bit more now we're back on Earth. And there's mention of a coven and spells and things, so I'm just quite interested to see what that is. This endless dimension that they're going into, she's created a portal and she's gone through, but this fragment has broken off from the endless creature and has become its own entity, and she's called herself Trillin. It's on the back of the synopsis. So their interactions have been quite interesting. This woman from Earth, now I've had a look how to pronounce this name because I didn't think it was as simple as it looks. The name is Sian. Now, there's everything from Sian to Shan. So I'm not quite sure on the pronunciation of that one. So she's gone through to explore this endless dimension. She's been given permission to go and explore it and have a look around. But the endless dimension wants to eat her, apart from this piece that has broken off and become its own entity. And the woman from Earth is basically trying not to be absorbed by this endless creature, is just basically going, wow, she's so hot. So that's an interesting dynamic. So yeah, we're going to see what happens then. So they've just gone back to Earth, and we'll see what goes on. But I am going to do some colouring now because I think I've read enough today. And I would just like to do a little bit of, relaxation before bed. The kitties are chilled out, finally. Spencer has had a squeaky night. She likes to stand in the kitchen and squeak. She doesn't properly meow. She just squeaks until I go and see what she wants. And what she wants is to go and stand in the bathroom. I don't know why. Anyway, she's getting a toy tomorrow, so hopefully she can, burn off some of that squeaky energy tomorrow, which will be fun because it spins round under a cover for about 15 minutes and she absolutely loses her shit every time she's had one, which means she's not actually going to be interested in it tomorrow, is she? No, because she's a cat. Anyway, I'm off to do some colouring and I will come back to you either later tonight and show you what I've done, but probably not because the lighting is terrible, or I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to bed soon. This really isn't a lot yet. I've just finished this one. And now I'm doing this one. Haven't decided on the full colour palette yet. And this is as much as I've done. Currently using... Where are you? I thought you were next to me. It's the Faber-Castell Black Edition. I really like these pencils. They're really nice and soft and creamy. So I'm going to bed soon. Might get another colour in. I don't know. Good morning, it is 9:45 on the Sunday the 17th of September. So, did I in fact wake up in time to go for a 3-mile walk? Or did I get up, feed the cats and then go back to bed and gossip quite late? I think we all know what the answer is, don't we? Yeah, so no walk this morning, but I am going to go and do my shopping at Aldi. It is a bit of a walk away. I'm going to take a backpack, so that's going to count instead. It opens at 10. I'm going to leave in a few minutes, I think. But I did do a bit more reading this morning, a bit more of How to Get a Girlfriend When You're a Terrifying Monster. Yeah, things have progressed. We're on page 86. I don't have a lot left, about 20 pages left, but I'm not going to get this finished before I go out and do my shopping now. It's surprisingly touching at the moment, and I'm enjoying it. That's all I can really say, because anything beyond what I told you last night is going to really spoil what goes on in the book. But yeah, it's nice. I am enjoying it. And then I will pick another book. I've got 3 videos to record today. I think there's going to be quite a lot of recording time that's going to equate to. It's going to take a while to get through those. So I'm not going to attempt to read 3 novellas today, but I would attempt to get another one in, because there's going to be a lot of recording time and a lot of editing time today. But anyway, that's where we are this morning. I'm going to go down and do my shopping now and come back to you probably when I have finished this and decided what my next read is going to be. I think Spencer's settled in for the day. You look so cosy, darling. It's 10 to 11 now, just got back, so I need to go and sort my shopping out. I am looking a little bit windswept, but I did get myself a little coffee treat. It's the maple caramel iced whatever. I know it's pumpkin spice season, and I do love myself a good pumpkin spice latte, but we're still the temperature outside where we're ordering iced coffee, so it doesn't quite feel like pumpkin spice season to me yet. Say that 6 times fast. Pumpkin spice latte. Yeah, they're lovely. This is really nice. I'm sure it's my entire weekly allotment of sugar, but it's tasty. I'm going to go and sort the shopping out. I'm going to go and sort myself out, and then I'm going to finish that novella. So Aldi is always an interesting mix of everything. So you see something, it may never be there again, but I've never seen these in the UK, and I watch a lot of YouTube shorts, so I've seen these all over. So I'm going to be giving these a try today because I've been intrigued. It's 11:30 now, or near enough 11:30. I've just finished How to Get a Girlfriend When You're a Terrifying Monster. I quite enjoyed that in the end. It was quite sweet by the end of it, so that was a nice read. I'm not going to really do any more reading now because it's 11:30. I think I'm going to go and get ready for recording, have some lunch, and then get all my videos done. So it's probably going to be a large chunk of the afternoon. But I think for my next novella, I'm going to read Hollow Planet. That's a shorter one. It's 57 pages long. Because I'm not going to worry about trying to finish one of the 100-ish pages novellas this afternoon because I'm going to have so much recording and editing to do. But I can go and print out my book covers now I've chosen this one. I need to go and change my cartridges first. So yeah, this is a barren planet, and they've discovered a signal, and they go and have a look at it. That's really all I know from the back. So that's going to be my next read later on today. And now I do have 3 novellas that I'm behind in my book journal, but I knew that was going to happen because I didn't print out any covers yet. So I'm going to go and sort things out, and I'll update you later on when I come back to some reading or I finish my recording. I'll just let you know what goes on. It is 1:30. I've just finished recording. I did about an hour solid. My throat is dry, but I've got my videos done. I've got my finalist announcement done. I cannot wait for you to see what it is. I've got all my cuts, my semi-finalists. I've got a lot of editing to do. I'm going to go and start tonight's video. I'm going to really try not to leave Wednesday's video until last thing Tuesday to edit. So let's get going. Let's get some videos done. Let's go and find a can of Pepsi or something. I'll get this video sorted. It is 2:45. I've just finished the edits on tonight's video, so that is just currently saving. That's just going to take a little while to go. So now seems like the perfect time to read The Hollow Planet, or at least start it, and then I'll get that uploading. So I will come and tell you what I think in a bit. It's not a very long one, so we'll see where I get before I come back to you. So I've just read the first page, which is the author's note, and this does take place in a bigger series. I did try and avoid getting books like that. There is another couple of novellas in here, but they did specifically say they were prequels and you could read them before the rest of the series. So it does say it's just in a small corner of that universe, so I'm hoping that it's not going to impact that I haven't read anything else by this author. Okay, I'm not very far into this one. It's definitely clear that this is part of a bigger world, but what I'm liking is the snippets of context that are given. There's not like a whole page of explaining why they've just got excited they found an ore. It's just a few lines explaining why they're interested in it in the first place, and it's actually working really well to build this universe up, and it's obvious that a lot has happened in this world. And I'm just liking how it's presented, that even though I've got no familiarity with it, I have enough context already coming through. And I'm kind of intrigued by the other books now. I'm only like 6 pages in, but I definitely feel like I want to read the rest of this universe. But yeah, I'm going back to this, and my video's still rendering, as I've got a bit of time. Lila, why are you sleeping against my smart meter? Why? I just don't understand that cat sometimes. She's obviously comfortable sleeping with her head up against my smart meter. Anyway, I've just finished Hollow Planet by John Kuhn. I'm intrigued about the rest of the world. This didn't end up anywhere near what I thought we were going to get. So people from Earth have started to move out and colonise other planets. They've colonised another one. There's been some alien attacks. They're aware of alien races. So we've got that set up about this universe already. So they discover a signal and they want to go and investigate where this signal has come from. So they go to the planet and they find this barren wasteland. All the water has boiled off from the surface. It's a carbon dioxide atmosphere. Hello, Spencer. It's nearly their feeding time, so they're basically watching my every move at the moment. And then they discover a cave in the side of a cliff, and it's not a natural shape. So they go and investigate and discover a water source underground, and then it just kind of goes from there. So it was pretty absorbing, actually, and definitely an interesting world, because this throws up some really interesting outcomes. It ended up being quite dark. So I have looked online. His books aren't on Kindle Unlimited, so I have just popped them on my Kindle list as something to look at in the future. But I'm definitely intrigued to find out more about this world. So that is 4 novellas down in a weekend, which isn't bad. It's quite good. We still have a good stack of novellas, but I have printed out all 4 covers that I have read so far, and I do think it is time I worked a little bit on my book journal tonight, because I'm now 4 behind. I did get caught up and now I'm behind. I have edited and uploaded the video to go up tonight, and that is actually live now. I do need to edit Wednesdays, and I'm just not in the mood to do it now. And I know I'm just going to leave it and do it Tuesday night. That's just what's going to happen. And then I've got my final list to go up next weekend. So I'm not going to pick my next novella yet, because I think I'd like to get at least 2 books updated in my book journal, and then I need to feed myself, and the cats have a little present coming soon, and I need to take my makeup off. I think that's going to be my first job, is take my makeup off and then work on the book journal a bit. Oh, are you cleaning your little leg? Anyway, update you later. It's 6:30 now, and I did do some work on my book journal. Not quite as much as I'd hoped, but enough. And I've also got some books written up on my wrap-up notes. So I have been making progress, just perhaps not as much as I would like. I have also eaten and cleaned up the kitchen, so I've been doing the things, and I'm going to sit down and do some reading, and I have chosen The Casebook of Harriet George, Volume 1, Dinosaur Hunters by Patrick Samphire. This actually has a second book as well that's out, that's also a novella. So if I like this, I may get that one and see if I can sneak that in this week at some point. Because it's only 6:30, so I think I'm going to make really good progress in this. And then there's still the whole week with evenings to read. But yeah, I'm going to get into this and see what I think. The cat toy hasn't come yet, but the delivery window was 6:30 to 8:30. So soon, I assume. I really hope Spencer likes it and doesn't ignore it. But you know, cats. Good morning, if we can call it that. It is Monday the 18th. It is just before 5 AM. I have been awake since about 3:10. We knew some storms were coming overnight. Most of the storms were supposed to be further south, but got woken up just after 3 o'clock by the weirdest, longest, loudest clap of thunder. So the cats freaked out immediately. I was just jerked awake, so I couldn't get back to sleep, so I decided to get up. I've had a look online. There's a little bit of noise from Grimsby from people going, I don't know what the noise was, we're all awake now. Of course, trying to find out anything from Grimsby online is next to impossible, because it always assumes you're in Ontario, but no, this is the Grimsby. So I decided to be productive at 3 o'clock in the morning. I got up. I have edited my final cuts video and my semi-finalist announcement, which is actually one video this year. That's currently saving now. The cats are not impressed because I have got up but I have not fed them, because I said 3 o'clock, 3:30. It's too early to be fed. I'm not even feeding myself. I've not had enough caffeine yet today. I'm going to go and have another cup of tea in a minute. But I thought, while I'm here, let's continue the productivity. I read the casebook of Harriet George, Volume 1, The Dinosaur Hunters. I finished this last night. I wasn't expecting to, because I got about halfway through and I was like, I think I've read enough today. And then I just read the rest of it. This was utterly charming, and yes, I've ordered the sequel now, so that should be coming on Tuesday. So there's another book that I can try and get in this week, because I got through 5 novellas at the weekend. Probably won't get through that many for the rest of the week, but you never know. So this one is kind of an alternate history. It's set in 1815, but it's on Mars, and there's definitely a steampunkish vibe, but not quite, because we're before the Victorians, and steampunk seems to be Victorians onwards, 1815. And there's a jewel thief. I cannot remember what they're called. The jewel thief, the glass phantom, is stealing jewels, and they think this thief is on Mars, and they're going on a hunt for dinosaurs, because this rich husband and wife are going as well on this sort of safari to go and hunt dinosaurs that live on Mars. And then it just kind of goes from there. It's a whole investigation. It's the murder investigation as well, and it was utterly charming. I really enjoy Harriet George. She was definitely an interesting character, and she's determined to go and solve this case so she isn't married off at 16 or 17 to someone and then just live a life for somebody else. So I really liked this. It was a lot of fun and quite easy to go through. I really need to read some more Patrick Samphire. He does have another couple of books out, so once I've finished this, made more progress in my TBR, I might get them on Kindle. Are they on Kindle Unlimited? I don't think they're on Kindle Unlimited, but I think I'll have a look at his other stuff, because I did enjoy that. And as I said, I have the sequel to this coming on Tuesday. So the next book I think I'm going to go for is The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Core. I will probably start this one tonight, because I don't think I have enough brain power yet this morning. I do need another cup of tea. Don't know what this one is about. Mermaids, I think? I'm not sure. But we're going for the Scary Teeth-Faced Lady next. It has now just turned 7. It is a little bit later than I planned to come and update you, and I definitely planned to start reading earlier. But this is just what time it is. So the discussions at work today were generally, were you woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning? What was that noise? And everyone just absolutely knackered, including me. I think a lot of Grimsby will be going to bed early tonight, myself included. So that was that. It was just a thunderstorm, just an abnormally loud thunderstorm, but anyway, it was something interesting for today. So what have I done really this evening? Not a lot. Played with the cats. I gave them some catnip. I had to actually pick Lila up and put her on the catnip, because she wandered off while I was opening the bag and then just forgot, I think, that I was putting catnip out. She doesn't have very many brain cells, that one. I have also uploaded my cuts video with the semi-finalists. That's going up on Wednesday. And I just need to edit my finalist announcement for Sunday. But we do have a second finalist, which is very exciting. And I can't wait to read them. So I am going to start reading The Salt Grows Heavy. I'm not expecting to finish it. I'm expecting to fall asleep for much longer, to be honest. And I did have a look on Goodreads, because I've added this to my Goodreads. In the US, this is a Tor Nightfire title. And I know in my initial clip I said I want to avoid Tor.com titles. This is another book that has been published by Titan Books in the UK. Now, a lot of the Tor novellas are still published by Tor in the UK. Just these ones haven't. So I make the rules. So they don't say Tor on them. So therefore they count. I'm going to go and start it and see what I think. Oh, it's got some end papers. I've taken the cover off because I got you all out of the frame there. I never read with the cover on, but that's the end paper. So let's see what I think of this one. So it's a bit after 8. I've been reading for a little bit, and I've got up to page 40 in The Salt Grows Heavy, which is the first section. It's actually the first night, so we've got a few days. I'm not sure what to think, really. I think I'm going to put this one down. I was hoping to do sort of a novella a night-ish, but I don't think that's going to work. So this one is, the writing is so poetic to the point where it overwhelms everything else about the story. The plot, the characters, it's all just overwhelmed by you having to pay attention to how poetic the writing is to try and figure out what it's showing you. So there's this huge detachment because you're so focused on the actual writing, you're not seeing the story. But the story itself is also weird. And I like weird stuff. I like really weird stuff. But this is weird to the point where it's not really fitting. And a weird book of 40 pages, I wouldn't think anything of that. But a weird novella, a third of the way through, something should be starting to piece together so we can get the payoff at the story. Now, maybe that will come later, maybe it won't. I don't know. I'm going to read something else tomorrow. So, I've got the cover here. So, we've got the Plague Doctor and a mermaid who is this character on the front. And it says in the synopsis that they're fleeing the downfall of an empire, but they seem to have daughters who are eating everything. People. I'm not quite sure. And they've come across these boys who have killed another boy, and now some other stuff's going on. Maybe this will make a lot more sense when I can dedicate some proper time to it, and not during this novella reading vlog. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to put this to one side and go, right, that deserves its own time spent trying to absorb it. So, not so successful today. I have printed out some book covers, so the next one I've printed out, let me just grab it. I've actually printed out the Elden Ethos. No, it's just Elden Ethos. No, the. This is really short. This is 40 pages long. So I'm going to try this one tomorrow. What I did actually find, though, was when I was looking at this for the rest of the series, because it seems to be a series, there's actually a bind-up of a few of these plus an additional short story. So if I like this, instead of getting the next little slip of a novella, I might get that bind-up, because that bind-up is the price of not even two of these. So I don't know. I shouldn't be buying books. We'll just have to see what I think after this one. But yeah, that's that. And I think I'm gonna go and get some sleep. I was gonna do some colouring, but I think my brain is just gone. So let's go and get some sleep, and hopefully things will be a little bit more functional in the morning. Good morning, it is 7 AM on Tuesday the 19th of September, and I thought I would come on and give you a brief update. I'm about to go off to work, so I do need to be quick about this one. And I just want to say I did sleep better last night. There was no rude awakening at 3 AM. And yeah, everything's just that a little bit better this morning. So while I was drinking my cup of tea this morning, I did read Elden Ethos by Eldridge Black. And this is only 40 pages long, so it wasn't too much reading. I'm not going to be continuing on with this one, and I'm not going to be buying the bind-up. Yeah, it was weird. A lot of the novellas that I'm reading at the moment are very weird, but the style is sort of sacrificed slightly for the short length of the book, because we would have a couple of lines, I did this, I saw this person, and then quite a detailed scene. And while the writing of that bit was really quite nice, everything just felt a little bit choppy. And yeah, at 40 pages, a lot of it was rushed through. But the plot was interesting. Things got really dark and weird, yeah. Hitler ended up being involved in things somehow. I'm still not quite sure how that bit happened. And just overall, it was okay. yeah, that's really what I've got to say about this one. Yeah. So, what am I going to be reading next? I am running low on novellas, although I do have a few traditionally published ones on standby upstairs, and my copy of the second Patrick Samphire one should be coming tonight. Spencer, what are you doing? She's trying to turn herself inside out against the sofa. I don't know. So tonight I'm going to be working a bit on my book journal tonight, because there are a couple of the novellas that I've read so far that I would also like to do video reviews for, and I would like to get some of that worked on tonight. But between sort of that and bedtime, I think the next one is going to be The Re-Emergence by Alan K. Dell, and I think this one has another one that's been entered into the novella competition, because I'm pretty sure I saw this cover. It's pretty distinctive. A strange probe from a long-forgotten satellite network appears, and its message, a dire warning signalling the return of an ancient mythological evil. So this is actually a prequel novella, and I do own the first novel in this series as well, because everything was just that bit intriguing when I was looking for some recent reads. So that's going to be tonight's read. I don't know if I'm going to get through all of this. It's about 125 pages long, but Spencer is just being silly, and I need to go and do my, normal day things. So I'll talk to you later when basically we're back into the bookish stuff. It's 4:15. I've just got home from work. I thought I was recording and I opened up my parcel already, so we're just gonna start again. I wasn't recording, but this came today, and this is the next of the casebook of Harriet George novellas by Patrick Samphire, A Spy in the Deep. So this looks lots of fun. I'm not going to be reading this one now. I might save this one for later on in the week, because I would like to work on the ones I already had, and yeah, so this was, I enjoyed the first one so much that I had to get the second one. So anyway, I have a lot of things to sort out before I really get into the evening, so I'll come back to you when I am ready to start reading. So it's a bit after 8:30, and just bear with me, I changed my mind again, okay? I decided to sit down and start reading Annie, or the Care and Feeding of Your Great Tree-Dwelling Venomous Tentacled Land Devil by R.M. Olsen. I got about a chapter and a half into this one, and then I started looking up the series, because this is a Singularity prequel. And there's a few books in the series, and honestly, I think this would be best coming to with a grounding in that series, because there are a few things in this novella that aren't really explained, they're just referenced to. And I got about a chapter and a half into it before I started really thinking that perhaps it's best to come back to this one later rather than read this one as an introduction to the series. But in a chapter and a half, I did really like the writing style. So I am going to look at getting the first book, because I think it's on Kindle Unlimited. So I am intrigued by the series, but I just don't think that this is the place to start. So I do have this novella, and I will come back to it at a later time. So that's the problem with prequel novellas, because you're never quite sure how much of a prequel they are, or whether it's assumed you have some idea about the series. So I was having a look at the other ones. I'm down to, these three, plus actually I bought that other one, didn't I? So that one, that Patrick Samphire one, so there's always that one as well. But I want to get written up with all the ones I've read first before I go to that one. I had a look at The Re-Emergence by Alan K. Dell, because this one is a prequel to the Augment Saga. This was actually published first, so this will work as a prequel to someone who isn't familiar with the series, because the first novel, which is From the Grave of the Gods, was published after this one, and I do actually have a copy of that novel as well. So I'm quite confident that this one's going to be fine, and I'm looking forward to that one. This one doesn't seem to be a prequel. This one just seems to be its own story. This one as well is a prequel novella, and this one was published after the first book, which was Blood of the Spear, I believe? The Blood of the Spear. But it does say in the synopsis that this works as an introduction to the series. So I am a little bit more confident about those ones. But this one definitely needs a read of the other books first. So I will actually be starting the Re-Emergence tomorrow, after all, and seeing how that one goes. But I'm quite looking forward to my other two as well. And the pile of novellas I have is going down quite well, but not as fast as perhaps I thought it would. But that's fine, because we don't have to rush. Anyway, it is Tuesday. I did announce my semi-finalists. It's going well. And I will be announcing my finalist on Friday now, because I can't wait. I can't do it tomorrow because it's not fair. That's not long enough for the semi-finalists. I do have to wait till Friday. But anyway, I am going to go and I'll be back tomorrow and start this one. Good morning, it is 7 AM on Wednesday the 20th of September. We are nearly halfway through the week. I did actually start reading The Re-Emergence when I was drinking my cup of tea this morning, and I'm 26 pages through, which is the prologue and the first chapter. So not too far into it at the moment, but this is a really interesting setup. So there's this race of aliens who we are following, and long ago they expanded out into the galaxy, and then an invasion force appeared and pushed them back to their sort of little corner. And then this race of aliens left this huge satellite network to detect if this invasion force ever come back. Hundreds of thousands of years pass. Let's see how long it's been. 300,000 years have passed since this network was put in place, and then they detect the invasion force again. So they send a little satellite off to this alien home planet to go, hey, that alien force is back, and they're all going, we thought that was a myth. So it's interesting to see people reconcile that, because some people are accepting it as like, let's go and have a look, and then other people are like, no, you've got a hidden agenda, this isn't right. So we're not very far into it yet. We're just going to see what's hanging around at this satellite network. But the author's using different terminology for like distance and time. And fortunately, even in the novella, there is a glossary at the back to explain what all those terms are, which is quite handy, because there's a use of apostrophes in the words, which is always difficult to figure out how they are pronounced. Because, for example, is it Rotan for their year? It's RH apostrophe OTAN. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure how to read that one, but yeah, they're all in the back, which is quite useful. And it just kind of adds to the alien feeling that we're going through. They've got feathers, you know. So I'm about to go off to work, and I will be coming back to this one tonight, I think. Yes, I'm going to read this one when I get home tonight. So I will, you know, update you later on. And yeah, my semi-final video went well last night, so I was quite pleased with that one. But yeah, I'm off now to go and do my day-to-day things. It's 9 PM now, and I have just finished the Re-Emergence, and I ended up really quite enjoying this one. I am definitely intrigued enough to continue on with the series, which is a really good thing, because I did buy the first novel as well. So this really is a prequel novella, and I thought it was quite a good introduction, because I don't feel like I've missed anything by not having read the novel first. So I am interested to see how the events of this sort of fall out and where the next novel is set. I did mention this morning that it uses different terms for things like distance and time and a few other bits and pieces, and I've got to admit I did find that a bit clunky at times, because you are going through a firefight and then you have to think, hang on, are we talking about time or distance? And just had a quick thought, how much time, how much distance? So it isn't quite as smooth as it could be, and I do wonder that if we actually go into a novel, you're given more time to settle into the world, and it would make a lot more sense. So there is a big battle at the end, and very interesting location. I'm really intrigued to see how that is going to play out in the rest of the series. But I was quite impressed with this only being 124 pages long. Some really interesting character work in this one as well. So people, you get to know the crew, you get to know the captain, and there's crew who don't agree with things, and they really go through this learning experience, and it felt like there was enough time for this to happen. It didn't feel rushed, so I was quite impressed at the characters throughout this one. So it's bumping up the novel in my TBR pile, but we're not quite there yet because we still have novellas to read, and it is only Wednesday night, and I do have 2 novellas left and 2 days of the week, so these are my next 2. We're back to fantasy for the last 2. So Starbinder is also a prequel novella, and from the sounds of it, it is actually one you can start the series with, not like Annie, which is still sat over there, that I definitely think you need to read at least the first couple of books to get placed in the world. So I think I might read Starbinder next by Mark Timoney. So this is the prequel to, what is it? I should know, The Blood of the Spear. So I think I might start this one and then read this one on Friday night. So I'm honestly didn't expect to get this far through my novella pile this week, but there are still 2 days left and we'll see how much reading I get done. But for now, I'm ready for sleep. The kitties are staring at me, so I think they're ready for sleep. I think we'll all go and get some sleep. Good morning. It is about 6:45 on Friday the 22nd of September, and today is the final day of the novella reading vlog, and I'm going to try and squeeze in one last novella. So last night, or at all yesterday, I didn't update because I got home from work and decided to announce my SBFBO finalist, which was really exciting. So things just ended up being a little bit chaotic and busy. It was just a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see what everyone else thinks too of my finalist. But I did do a bit of reading in the evening, and I read Starbinder by Mark Timoney. So this is a prequel novella, as I've said, to The Blood of the Spear, and this takes place about 2,000 years before that one. So there are a few bits and pieces that I feel like I would have better context if I'd read Blood of the Spear, but at the same time I do feel like this was quite an interesting introduction to the world. It's quite clear there's a massive magic system here, and it's quite extensive and complicated. There's only so much you can do within a novella and still keep the story going. So we do get a few introductions to that, and I have a grounding on what the magic system is based on now, but not a lot of the details. So this one follows Rihanna, I think it's pronounced, and she lives with her grandmother. She has been raised by her grandmother, who's extremely cruel and has basically bullied her entire life. So we meet her at 15 years old. They live in caravans and they call themselves wanderers. They travel around because no one really wants them there. There's some history with who they are descended from. Again, a little bit of detail is given in the novella, and I feel like more would be given in the actual novel because that's quite a long novel. And we meet them. They are being attacked, and Rihanna's cousin is carried off and she goes looking for him, and then basically her destiny is revealed to her. So I really like the writing of this one, so I'm really looking forward to Blood of the Spear. And yeah, I thought this was a good introduction. So after I've read Blood of the Spear, I'll see what I think, how this is an actual introduction. But yeah, I enjoyed it. So my final novella, I just need to grab it. The final one that I'm going to try and fit in is The Summoner's Cry by Anna C. Rice. And this one is, it's 129 pages long. So I think that's the longest one I've had, really. But I picked this one up because I really liked the cover. Probably be reading this one tonight because I need to start thinking about getting ready for work. But it's Friday, it's the final day of the week and the vlog. But yeah, let's try and squeeze one last novella in. We've had a fantastic week of reading this week. Good morning, it is 8:45 on Saturday the 23rd of September, and it's time to wrap up my novella reading vlog. I was going to wrap up last night after I read The Summoner's Cry, but I didn't even open it. So I didn't read that one. yesterday, so that will go back on the TBR pile, which is fine. But I've had a fantastic week of reading. I have read many wonderful books this week, and I have some series that I'm really interested in looking at. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books altogether last week. Not quite as many in the week as I'd hoped, but I had a couple where I just didn't get on with them, and then I didn't come back and read anything else. But yeah, it's been really fun and a nice change of pace reading some shorter stories. And I have a couple of things in here. So I do have the second book in this one to read. I think there's only 2 books out, so I'm looking forward to that one. I am really looking forward to seeing what the fallout of the space battle is at the end of this one, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what the world looks like in 2,000 years' time, because I do own this next book as well. So absolutely fantastic time. It's going to be a little while before my next reading vlog, and I will be picking from the Jar of Destiny for that one. That's going to be second week of October, I think. But anyway, I need to really go and get this edited so I can get this up, and I will see you all soon. And I hope you enjoyed this new style of reading vlog where I read on a theme for a week.